And here, I'm watching one TV show this morning. And on that TV show, this is among the people I heard blame. The owner, James Dolan. Heard him get blamed. That's the owner. Like, you guys are being silly over here. It's always the owner when it's the Knicks. If Tom Thibodeau is no longer the coach of the Knicks, it's because James Dolan decided he didn't want him to be. Now, we could talk about why that is, but you got to pin this on the owner. That's where this goes. Okay, that makes sense. Well, then they go over here, and it's like, no. It's Leon Rose. Leon Rose and Tibbs, like, couldn't get along, couldn't see eye to eye. It's the guy running the franchise, not the owner of the franchise. It's Leon Rose who did this. Okay, maybe. And then, no. It's the players. Come on. You heard it through the season. Mikal Bridges publicly said at one point, I need to be playing fewer minutes per game. Okay?
Well,
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. Mikal Bridges, and you also notice like former Villanova players who aren't on the Knicks but are friends with those guys. Like imagine somebody you went to college with, but then they got really famous. Like imagine you're Antonio Anderson and you played college basketball with Derrick Rose, but you didn't go on to have the professional career that Derrick Rose had. But you still like text with D Rose, and that's still your boy, and you kick it with him every offseason and whatever. Well, you have insight the way he thinks. There were former Villanova players like popping off on social media this year, like, man, I think my boys are playing too much. Where do you think that's coming from? All right. So that makes sense to me, too, that it could have been player-driven. As Alan Hahn said this morning on ESPN, it's possible everybody's right. The owner reached this point, the guy running basketball reached this point, and the players were ready for something different as well. It's possible all of that is true. But here's the thing I believe is most true, and I will forever believe this is most true, particularly when it comes to NBA terminations. Sure, it goes without saying if the owner doesn't want to do it, it doesn't get done in most cases. So James Dolan holds some responsibility here. Like he's the owner. He could just say, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
Right.
I've owned this team forever. You guys haven't been here for the past 25 years, but I was here the whole time. And it's been miserable. And I don't care how we got here, but man, this was awesome. And we were within 2 wins of the NBA Finals. So does he play his starters a little too much? Is he too rigid in his decision making? Could he be a little more open-minded about stuff? Sure, but I'm a bottom line guy, and the bottom line's great, and I ain't firing nobody. If James Dolan wanted to say that, he could. He clearly didn't. So the easiest thing you can do is just say, put it on the owner, because the owner has ultimate control. Here's what I genuinely believe, and almost always believe. Regardless of what the owner wants to do, president of basketball operations, general manager, anybody else, you know who can stop it? The star player, every time. If the star player steps in and says, that's our leader. Thank you for giving me all the credit and all the millions for getting us to this place. But I didn't do this by myself. The coach put us in this position to do this. So do I agree with everything he says? No. Do I think he needs to be a little more open-minded? Yes. But we cannot remove the guy who put this franchise in this position. You can't do this. This is my coach. If Jalen Brunson wanted to say that, he could. And so I'm not saying Jalen Brunson's fingerprints are all over it, like the knife is going to have his thumbprint on it. But if he wanted to stop it, he could. And the most obvious thing to me is that even though the wins were stacking up and they were advancing in the playoffs, the players have had enough of this style of play, of being run into the ground. And they had made that clear throughout the season. And it probably got to a point to where regardless of the success that they were having, they had decided they were doing this when the season was over, regardless of when the season ended. It seems like that's where we're at.
Yeah, and I think, too, and I agree with all that. I think, too, it's not that big of a coincidence that, he coached Karl Towns twice and he was fired in both situations. I mean, that might have a little something to do with it as well.
The main thing is going to be he clearly had people telling him to adjust some stuff. Like, he made the lineup change.
Was it after game one? After the
he made the lineup change in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the reporting subsequently said they had been trying to get him to do this earlier, and he was fighting with everybody.
And he started playing a couple guys that weren't playing at all.
Brian Windhorst, who again is one of the most connected NBA reporters in the world and has been for a long time, suggested that those changes ultimately might have been the thing that undid Tibbs, if you can wrap your head around that. Point being, the criticism directed at him, even while they're winning, filling up the Garden, advancing deeper in the playoffs than they've been in a while. All the stars are involved. Even while all that's happening, there were people behind the scenes, on his own staff, in the front office, even on the roster, saying, Tibbs, this is good, but it could be better if we did A, B, and C. Take these minutes, lower them a little bit, use our bench a little more, whatever. And he just was resistant to all of it. I'm the head coach, don't talk to me type of stuff. I know what I'm doing, don't talk to me. This is just not the way basketball teams are run anymore. Front offices, it's very easy to walk into a post-game press conference, sit down in front of Taylor Jenkins, and ask him why Jaren Jackson was on the bench until there were 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter or whatever. But in some cases, the truth is going to be those are orders from above. That wasn't a decision that he made in the moment as much as it was a decision that was made in an office in this building 3 months earlier type of stuff, right? There's a lot of voices that have input in the way a basketball game plays out. And in New York, apparently, Tibbs wouldn't listen to anybody. And that's fine, I guess, in most professions, as long as you're delivering results. But what we have learned about the NBA for a long time now is that simply doing the job well is not always good enough.
That's right. No, you have to be in lockstep with your organization.
And your star players.
Yeah, that's right.
J.B. Bickerstaff was on ESPN this morning as well. And one of the things he said was, as a head coach, from watching his father, but then doing it himself in different franchises. This is another man who's been fired before. He said, you have to have relationships with your best players. You have to have a relationship so solid with your best players that if somebody is thinking about getting you while things are good, like when things are bad, there's nothing you could do. It's just like they go, you won 27 games, you got to go.
Right.
But when things are good, it's not always enough to just be delivering results. I mean, they just made the Final Four of the NBA playoffs. Understand, in college basketball, there is no scenario you can make the Final Four and get fired.
That's right.
All right? And I know it's apples to oranges a little bit.
Yeah, but this league is unique.
Yes. This is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If it's bad, it doesn't matter what kind of relationships you got. They'll get you, and they'll just point to the record. All right? But in the NBA, all the time, men with great records get fired. All the time. Incredible resumes, they get fired all the time. And the point JB was making on television this morning is, as a head coach, you have got to have such strong relationships with your locker room, with the important guys in that locker room, that if somebody gets even an idea of moving on from you for whatever reason, they'll stand up and say, you can't do this. Because ultimately, they are the people who have the power with the ownership and the front office. Like the star player in most franchises, in most, not all, but in most, the star player maybe can't fire you if he wants to fire you if the front office wants to keep you. But that guy can keep you employed if the front office wants to get you and he doesn't want you to. He could just go in and say, you can't do this. I'm telling you, I think you know what you think you know what you're doing. And I say this as respectfully as I can say it, but I'm the guy with this guy every day. And I'm telling you, we ain't the same basketball team without him. He needs to be a little more open-minded, but let's talk to him about that. Let's not throw him over the side of the boat and move on without him, because we won't be as good without him as we are with him. You got to have a guy willing to say that for you. And it is crystal clear. He didn't have that guy.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.